fine. Hi, I'm Joseph Kennedy, founder of the Innovation Scholarship Fund Association. I am here with Kaiya Everett, our 2025 Innovation Scholarship recipient. Kaiya, welcome to the interview.
Thank you so much.
So I look forward to these conversations. So I hope you're looking forward to it. So are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Well, let's get into it then. So you're growing up in Washington, D.C. How does growing up in Washington, D.C. shape you?
Okay, so one time I actually did a Black History project on what Washington, D.C. means to me. And during that project, I talked about how Washington, D.C. is such a close-knitted community because really, if you're from Washington, D.C., everybody else you know in Washington, D.C. will probably be a lifetime friend because it's like everybody knows each other, but also it's more of a cultural thing because it's like if you hear anything in the background, I'm sorry. It's more of
No,
a
it's fine.
cultural thing because let's say I went to Philly and New Jersey, I think 2 months ago for a concert. And when I went there, they didn't have mumbo sauce. I was like, that's just the Washington, D.C. So that's how it feels when that's how it
That's
feels
funny.
growing up in Washington, D.C.
You got to get your mambo sauce on. We got to make certain that Philly and New York and Atlanta, they got to understand that mambo sauce is important when they got us when
Right?
we traveling up there.
I wanted some on my fries.
That's funny. That's funny. So let's shift a little bit. Growing up in DC, who are your role models? Growing up here in the city or your travels to Alabama and other places you've been to in your life, who are role models for you?
Well, there's two different sides of role modeling to me. There's people you know and people who you don't know. My known
Mm-hmm.
role model is actually my mom because she has sacrificed so much for me. She will always be my number one role model. But if we're going to people who I don't know personally, that's a role model to me,
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely Maya Angelou. That one poem,
Okay.
Still I Rise, that poem has held it held something close to me in my heart because I have been every Black History project. Oh, that's loud. I didn't know it was the phone. Sorry.
It's cool. It's cool.
Okay, so before the alarm hit, Um, every Black History project I have been doing since elementary has always been about Maya Angelou. So the more that I knew about her, the more of a role model she became for me.
So what's the fascination about Maya Angelou though? What makes you say, you know, I mean, you did those reports on her, you've been doing reports on her probably since elementary school. What makes her so fascinating to you?
I think it's the fact that she used something like how Zora Neale Hurston has used literacy to shape a person, not just a person, a whole community in the Renaissance, the Harlem Renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
I feel Maya Angelou because she technically was not a big factor of the Harlem Renaissance. She was a big factor of activism. And I feel that because she was an activist for Black people and I'm colored, that it's like it really connects with me.
Okay. Okay. That's fantastic. So you attended G. Woodson. You're a very progressive student. You are in Future Leaders and Government Program. How has Woodson prepared you for college?
I have been in many things. Well, let's go before Wilson. I was at Digital Pioneers
Okay.
Academy. I didn't really have a lot of opportunities because I really didn't join much clubs. I was a part of the nutrition, science and nutrition club at Digital Pioneers, but that was it. So when I transferred to HD Wilson, I had so many different opportunities. Starting with NAF Academy, I joined engineering as soon as I got there. Um, I was like, computer science wasn't for me, so they put me in engineering instead, and I actually liked it there. I actually won a
Okay,
$500 scholarship today because I was in it.
there you go. There you go.
So it's just Wisdom has offered me so many opportunities. I'm glad I took them.
Okay. So, what do you consider your defining moment at Woodson? If somebody had to say, it's Kaya, when they see you, they think of what? What's that defining moment for you?
It's definitely every time I say my major, I feel like and why I chose the major, they definitely be like, you're interested in space? Really? And that's
Okay.
mostly how I got my like known at HD Woodson. Other than that, I go around helping some of the teachers and staff and other students sometimes, which also help define me. So if it isn't helping, it's probably my major in college.
Okay. So, just helping people. So, what would you say has been your greatest challenge? What do you what's the struggle when it comes to school?
Um, Senior year was my most challenging year at Whitson, but definitely not the most challenging year in general. I would say because during senior year, I didn't really time manage well, but at the
Hmm.
end of the quarters, like at the end of school year, I really got back to time managing. But after in quarter two and quarter three, I struggled with time management because I was like, I'm a senior. I don't have to do this now. I can do this later. No, I had to do it now. No, no procrastination. So when I got into quarter four, I really put my best foot forward and made sure that I had everything done on time, everything done with efficiency, everything done with effort. So I didn't really have to come back to it later.
It's kind of interesting that you say that. You're not the only one. Because see, this is what happens. You guys become seniors, and you start saying, "Well, I got this," and then you find out that, "Oh no, I still got to put it in." You
Yeah.
got to still put that time in, and making certain that you're writing your research papers or whatever else you're doing in school or that project that you're working on. All that stuff that you were doing earlier as far as managing time, you got to go back to those basics and start managing that time again. So that's, yeah, I get that, and I'm not gonna. And I went to HD Woodson. I graduated in 1980. I also know about exactly what you're talking about because I went through it myself. Um, you're in the Technology Student Association. There was a
Yes.
design competition. Talk to me about that. What was that design competition about?
Okay, so during my time at TSA, because my last day of school is tomorrow, so I'm not really a TSA no more. But during my time
Okay.
at TSA, um, I chose, there was like multiple competitions we can choose from. So I decided to go do two competitions, but I only ended up doing one because uh, they canceled the other competition beforehand. So I only got to do one of them. I ended up in promotional design where we had to create a restaurant, a fictional restaurant, and then we had to create the promotion for it. I created things like t-shirts, a flyer, posters. I made a whole website for a menu, and then I created like a QR code to go to the website.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, it was a lot. But then when we got to the competition this year, they canceled it on spot, so I had to like I made it for no reason, but at the end of the day, I can say I did it. So
No, that's fantastic. So I'm sorry to hear that they canceled the competition, but you know what? The experience of going through it, sometimes the journey and the process is just as important as the result. So I'm going to just say congratulations to you, and I'm going to say you got first place because I don't know about nobody else.
thank
But you got to
you.
answer this: did you have mambo sauce in that? Did you have, um, I understand. You even mentioned it earlier that you like helping people. Um, and I know that you did some volunteering at Saucer Brew. Can you talk to me about that and why that's important to
Yes, so Sasha Veris really is. well, if you don't know Social Boost, it's where little girls that need help go to just in case, like if they if they are struggling financial wise, if they're struggling family wise, they go to Sasha Bruce. If they're struggling education wise, they also go to Sasha Bruce. So I worked with Sasha Bruce, I think three times because the first time I ever helped with Sasha Bruce, it was just moving furniture. So like we created like not just the rooms. We set up the whole house so that kids that need a place to live, specifically little girls, they would be able to stay in the rooms and have their own
Mm,
little house together. It was sweet. And I got to meet some of the people that worked at Sasha Bruce. I also got to meet some Howard University students, which was nice for networking.
hmm
And then the second time I worked with Sasha Bruce, I I was painting little rocks that had affirmations on them. It was sweet.
Oh, nice.
Like I think I wrote one that said "You are a star" just because of my major. Um, but it was to help them get more, comforted with the area around them, even if they went outside, so they won't have to be alone. They have something to go to, whether it be a rock, whether it be a person. They had somewhere to look at. And the third time, it was just a little bit of gardening. So really, I think that was
Okay.
my third time gardening. Third time I helped Sasha Bruce, and it really helped me like just pick up gardening as like a little hobby sometimes. But that's it.
That just sounds like it's important to you. So it seems like that's in you as a person to want to help other people. Where's that stem from?
I really do think it stems from what my mother has taught me as a child, because when I was a child, she would always be like, not only respect your elders, but if somebody needs help around you, go and help them. If it's safe enough to help them,
Hmm
at least. So I really, like I said earlier about my mom being my role model, she really shaped my identity from a child to an adult. So I
Yeah.
really, everything I learned is mostly from her.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Fantastic. Your mom clearly has done a marvelous job. A marvelous job. So you've chosen George Mason University,
Yes.
GMU. Why GMU?
It started from me searching for schools that had my major. That really chopped down the list a lot because there was not a lot of schools that focused on astronomy and astrophysics. So when I
Okay.
chopped down that list, there was like around 15 to 20 colleges still on the list. And when I thought about where I wanted to go long time, it was either with NASA or with Raytheon. So when I looked for schools that was close around NASA, it was around three schools that majored in astronomy also, astronomy and astrophysics. So there was Capital Technology, there was George Mason, and there was physics at Norfolk's that also stemmed out into astrophysics. So I was
hmm
thinking more about, so no, not more about. I went to the colleges. I went to Capital Technology first. I was really considering it. Then I went to George Mason, and then I was like, this is the place for me. And then it only got like set in stone when they sent the scholarship money, because it was the most amount of money from any college I had gotten at the time. So I was
Okay.
really looking
Okay.
forward to it.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with some place that actually is an area where you want to study, and they're actually providing you some cash. So that's not bad at all. What are you looking forward to when you get to college?
Um, Other than studying my major, I looked at some of the clubs, and this the specific thing I'm looking forward to is not really a club, but it's more of a like, they said they're not a club, they're more like a academic sports team. So
What's this?
I decided that I was going to try out for the debate team. I didn't really have to try out for
Okay.
it. they're holding boot camp for anybody that wants to be in the debate team. I went
Okay.
on their interest meeting, I think a week ago, and they were talking about the benefits and what you build, the skills that you need to be in debate team, the rules and the policies for debate. And I was like, this is kind of cool. I want to be in debate team.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So astrophysics, debate team. Um, what are you most concerned about in transitioning to college? Is there any trepidation or anything that you are saying, this is going to be a challenge for me transitioning from high school to college?
Definitely the courses. Uh,
The courses?
yeah, I have to take mostly math and science courses. I feel like the math courses are definitely going to be the struggle of college because I have to take calculus and not pre-calculus, which is kind of concerning.
Okay. Okay. So we'll see. We'll see. We've got some. We'll talk about that offline. We'll talk about that offline. Um, how do you see the scholarship helping you? How is the scholarship that we're offering you? How is that going to help you as far as in your college journey?
Okay, so coming from a family that my legal guardian has retired and my mom, she's usually off at work. Um, I felt I can't really waste all the money on myself for college because one, I don't really have the money to do that. And then
Mm-hmm.
two, I have little siblings that I also wanted to watch out for because my
Okay.
brother graduates in 2 years
Okay.
and I wanted to because our income is not that high, I wanted to apply for scholarships, many of them. I applied to like 50. I got rejected from like 48. But but I was like, they recommended me. I might as well take a chance at the interviews, and now I'm here.
Yeah, no, I think that's fantastic. I think that's fantastic. I mean, the fact that you put 50 of them out there just shows a lot about your character. Saying, hey, look, I got a dream I want to accomplish. I want to go to college. I'm going to need the money. Um, Same kind of things that happen to a lot of us. You know, we come sometimes from families that they just don't have the money squared away to send someone to a $40,000 college or $50,000, $80,000, or whatever it is. But we still want to go, and we got to do whatever we got to do to get there. And it seems like that's exactly what you're doing. What lessons would you like to pass on to your underclassmates right now, as they get sort of prepared for their own journey and they get prepared to go to college? What would you tell them, the person that's coming in at the ninth grade or the 10th person in the 10th grade? What would you tell them right now?
First, I would like to say, get involved. That's one of the reasons why I'm here today is because the opportunities that you get, don't decline them. Everything you get can help you and benefit you in a way. It definitely
Mm-hmm.
have for me. So, the second one I would want to say is time management wise, do not procrastinate. Do not
that
procrastinate.
that is great advice. That is great advice. So I want you to put. We're going to go into the future. It's the time or the year is 2055. So we have jumped 30 years into the future. I want you to tell me what you've done. I want you to say it's 2055. You're almost 50 years old. I want you to say, and this is what I have accomplished.
Okay. So I have built rovers in NASA. I have graduated master's degree with astronomy and astrophysics from George Mason. Then I went to get a license And then after I got that license, I became an astrophysicist at NASA and a part-time advocate for women of color. I helped change that demographic of women, that 15% of women and that 5% of women in color in STEM, not STEM, but specifically astronomy and astrophysics, to a whopping at least 30%. And that's where I see myself. Well, that's where I am because it's 2055.
55. Outstanding. Outstanding. I guess I'd be calling you, if I'm still around, hopefully I'll be around to see that. I'll be calling you Dr. Everett, I guess, and saying how you have changed the world. And when you're up there speaking and talking and doing all your wonderful things, at NASA, I'll show this video and say, I knew her when. um, Fantastic. Well, hey, everybody, this concludes our interview. I'd like you guys to give a big shout out to Kyle Everett, who is our 2025 scholarship recipient. Kaiya, is there anything you'd like to say in closing?
Thank you so much for everybody that's watching. And I know my mom is watching this, so thank you for supporting me.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.